As with the fuel system, the correct configuration for the ignition system is going to depend on your engine. Options include direct spark, waste spark, and distributor. Since the M150 uses a fixed configuration for the Toyota FA20 ignition system, there's no adjustment here. So we'll look at these settings on Motec's 100 series ECU Manager. If we go to the ignition setup menu, we first have the ignition type, which defines if the ignition output is a falling edge trigger or rising edge trigger. Most ignition systems use a falling edge trigger, but there are exceptions, including Honda, Ford, and some MSD systems. Getting this wrong can damage your coils, so if you are unsure, check with your ECU manufacturer. Next, we have the number of coils, which defines how the ECU will control the coils. For example, if the number of coils is the same as the number of cylinders, they'll be fired in a direct spark configuration. If one coil is used, this indicates a distributor ignition system. Each ECU is different, but these two parameters are the most critical in setting up your ignition system. We're now going to use the test mode to test the ignition system in the same way that we tested the fuel injectors. This can be done by selecting each ignition output and confirming the coil is producing spark. You can do this by physically removing the coil and connecting it to a spark plug that is earthed to the engine block. You can usually do this test though without removing the coils, as they'll make a slight ticking noise with each spark. Again, we can confirm the coils are wired correctly by unplugging them. If your engine has a distributor rather than a coil pack, you won't be able to test the ignition system properly without the engine running. You can connect the coil lead to a spark plug though and prove that it is generating spark. So by the end of this module, you should be able to configure your ECU to suit a particular engine, set up and test the inputs and outputs, and set up and test the injector and ignition outputs.